Welcome to episode 21 of my 2022 training diaries. It's Wednesday today, and we're here in beautiful Annecy, just over an hour west of Chamonix, after having completed the Tour Du Mont Blanc on Monday afternoon. We covered more than 175 kilometers with close to 10,000 meters of elevation gain as we traveled through Italy and Switzerland before returning to France. This was of course all part of our training in lead up to UTMB at the end of the month, which follows the same route. But we wanted to see it all in daylight and to be able to take our time to really soak it all in. And this trail was just incredible. It was certainly busier and less remote than many of the other long distance routes that I've done in the past, but it's pretty amazing to be able to move so fast and light through the mountains with the comfort of a shower and a warm bed each night, along with great food to fuel you along the way. In fact, it was such a great experience that we're already planning on doing it again next year. And we want to take a group of you along with us, so I'll tell you more about that at the end of this video. And I can't wait to put the film together from this one because we captured just a ton of incredible footage, including a bunch of drone footage with my new favorite toy, the new DJI Mini Pro 3. So in this video, I'm going to give you just a taste of all of that, since it'll take me a while still to edit the full film from this adventure. But as usual, I'll break this down by day to give you a sense of how this all fits into my training schedule, picking up where I left off last week on Wednesday morning, since we covered our travel on Monday and Tuesday in last week's video. So Wednesday, our first full day after arriving in France, we did a short shakeout run around town in Chamonix. So we are in Chamonix, France, one of our favorite places in the world. It's Wednesday morning, and we just arrived last night on Tuesday evening after leaving Vancouver on Monday afternoon. And we're just settling in here with a little 30-minute shakeout run just to kind of get the legs moving in advance of starting the TMB tomorrow on Thursday morning. There's sheep grazing in this field here. Incredible views of the Mont Blanc Massif. Couldn't ask for a better way to spend a Wednesday. Thursday is then when we started the Tour du Mont Blanc. And the time change was the biggest challenge for us here. We hadn't had a good night's sleep since Sunday night before leaving Vancouver. In fact, I ended up only sleeping for probably just a few hours the night before starting the TMB. I was testing out a drink mix from NAC that I'm planning on using as a supplement for UTMB, along with my new Solomon S-Lab Pulsar soft grounds. And I'll talk more about all my gear and nutrition in lead up to the race. We were up at 6 a.m. and on the trail by about 8, starting right from the future UTMB start line in downtown Chamonix, right around the corner from our hotel. That first day, we covered 37 kilometers with 2,400 meters of elevation gain in close to 9 hours. Although we did spend a lot of time taking photos, shooting video, and flying the drone, and of course stopping for food and to filter water along the way. The second day, we were out on the trails again by 8 a.m. We'd now be crossing the border from France to Italy, stopping just before Courmayeur. We covered another 38 kilometers with 2,200 meters of elevation gain, again in close to 9 hours on feet, including our breaks. The third day would be even longer, but would also be by far the most scenic. We'd eventually be leaving Italy and crossing into Switzerland, where we'd be spending the night. We covered 40 kilometers with close to 2,100 meters of elevation gain in another 9 hours on feet. Day 4 was our longest still, as we'd leave Switzerland and would make our way back to France for our final night on the trail. Cover 43 kilometers with close to 2,200 meters of elevation gain in closer to 9.5 hours. Day 5 was just a half day with just one big climb, followed by a long traverse and descent back down to Chamonix. We followed the UTMB course as closely as possible for that final stretch so that we could simulate and sort of scout out those final miles. This day came in at 18 kilometers with just under 1,000 meters of climbing and took us about 4.5 hours, including a lunch break. Pretty much right after that, we hopped on a shuttle bus to take us here to Annecy, where we checked into our Airbnb. And we'll be here now for another week and a half before moving on. Audrey and I are both working remotely in the evenings, but that leaves us lots of time in the mornings and early afternoon to enjoy the lake and the nearby trails. So expect next week to see a bunch of footage from what has to be our favorite city in the whole world. This next week will be all about recovery as we now begin our taper for UTMB and to catch up on our sleep and really to begin to refocus on nutrition and hydration. We'll be arriving back in Chamonix a few days before UTMB, so if you're going to be in town for the race, then be sure to stop by to say hello at the NAC booth at the UTMB Race Expo on Thursday the 25th between 2 to 4 p.m. And as I mentioned at the top, we're already planning to come back to fast-pack the Tour du Mont Blanc again around this time next year. We'll be working with a company called Vagabond Trails, who specialize in organizing group runs just like this on the TMB and other big routes. So if you're interested in learning more, I'll link to a form below where you can enter your email address to be the first to get all of the details once we get them confirmed, including the dates and price. The trip will follow a similar format to what we just did, but likely over closer to 6 days and with some additional support from Vagabond Trails. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and I will talk to you all next week from right here in beautiful Annecy, France.